I have a riddle for you. Would you like to play? Now, I have to caution you, it's a financial advisor's riddle. So as my daughters used to say when they were kids, that riddle was so bad I had to hold my nose. Okay, here's the question. When is $10,000 not $10,000, but it's really only $7,000? Any guesses? It's when you put your money into a regular IRA instead of a Roth IRA. Did you know that you can put a third more money in an IRA or a Roth 401k than you can in its regular counterparts, a regular IRA and regular 401k? And you're going to say, hey, Azul, the limits are the same. I'm sorry, buddy, you're a smart guy, but you're wrong on this one. Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. When you put you have, let's say you've got $10,000 that you're going to put in one of the accounts. If you put $10,000 in a Roth IRA, the next day you own all $10,000 of that. If you put it in a regular IRA, really what you're doing is the government is giving you an interest-free loan for $3,000 and you're putting in $7,000. So yes, you've got $10,000 in that account, but you know, I'm just saying 30% for your tax rate. The government really owns that. So let me ask you this. If in that case, the government said, let's use bigger numbers. Let's say it's $100,000. So if you put $100,000 into a Roth IRA, how much of that money is yours? It's $100,000. But if you put it into a regular IRA, $100,000, how much of that money is the government's? Well, when you take it out, it's going to be taxed as ordinary income. So let's just say it's 20%, 30%. Good for you if you're in that tax bracket. But let's say 20%. So the government's going to say, hey, that 20% is mine. Now, I'm not going to charge you interest on that, but we want you to hold that money for us. And by the way, you have to manage it. And you have to pay all the fees associated with the management of it. So 80,000 of that is yours and 20,000 is the government. And 10 years later, you've been paying the mutual fund fees on the government's money. If you're using a fee-only financial advisor, you've been paying your financial advisor on the government's money. And then when it comes time to take the money out, the government says, thank you very much. You know, I'll take that back. And a lot of us don't think about that with a Roth versus a regular IRA and a Roth and a regular 401k. But you see the analogy, right? It's a silly little riddle, but you see the point that I'm trying to make. And so it's one of the reasons that I think regular IRAs, Roth IRAs are so powerful is it's all your money. And you can control your tax rates later when you're in retirement if you have a Roth IRA. If you're in a regular IRA, you could say, well, so as long as I don't take my money out, I don't have to worry about that. But guess what? The government's got a game plan for that. It's called required minimum distributions. When you get to a certain age, depending on how when you were born, you have to start taking required minimum distributions out of the account. And between Social Security, the interest that you get on your money in the bank, and the required minimum distributions, which out of a regular account is all going to be taxable, you could find yourself in a fairly high tax bracket. Now, the reason that people put money in a Roth IRA versus a regular one of them is it's kind of called tax arbitrage. People think that tax rates are going to be higher in the future. And if that's true, then they really benefited. But I would argue the window of saying I benefited by having a Roth IRA, the Roth version of a retirement account, the benefits of that extend beyond just the tax rate arbitrage, right? Most of us think that tax rates are going to be higher in the future. Of course, we don't know that. I would have thought 20 years ago that tax rates would be higher when I'm this age than what they are. And who knows, in 20 years, tax rates could be even lower than what they are. So let me explain what I'm talking about with what you heard me say about tax rate arbitrage, because that's an unusual term. And so I want to explain what that is. So let me go back to my example of $100,000 and let's just say a 20% tax bracket. if you have $100,000 in your account and it's in a Roth IRA and the money doubles, right? Then let me start over with a better example. That wasn't, well, we can do this, but I should have started with different numbers. You have $100,000, and so the question is, you pay taxes on it today, and then you put the money in the Roth. So you have 100, and this is way above the limits, but I'm just doing it to illustrate it. Let me actually go to $10,000. It'll be easier. So $10,000, you pay the 20% tax on it. You're down to $8,000, right? And that's the money that you put into the Roth. The after-tax money goes into the Roth. So you have $8,000. Now with a regular IRA, you put that $10,000 in. You don't have to pay tax on the way in. You're going to on the way out, right? So you put the full $10,000. So in our Roth, day one, we have $8,000. In our regular IRA, day one, we have $10,000. Now, fast forward 10 years, and your money's doubled, just for the sake of argument. The Roth IRA has gone from $8,000 to $16,000. You take that money out, you pay no tax on it. So you have $16,000. Remember that number. Now with the regular IRA, you put in $10,000 because you didn't have to pay the tax. It doubles, you've got $20,000, but your tax rate is 20%. So after taxes, you have $16,000, which is the same number. Now, if taxes are higher in the future, let's say they're 40%, just for illustration, right? That $20,000 in your regular IRA, because it went from 10 to 20 over that 10-year period. So now we got $20,000. You pay a 40% tax rate on that. And now all of a sudden, what you've got, if I've done my math right, you've got $12,000. So if tax rates go up, you're glad that you paid taxes 10 years ago at that lower rate. So that's the arbitrage, and that's really what people say. That's how you should make the decision. But I would argue, you know, why do you want to pay guys like me to manage what's going to be the government money, right? So there's other advantages to having that Roth IRA. And frankly, there's peace of mind with knowing that you've already paid your taxes on it. It's also nice not to have to worry about the required minimum distributions that come with a regular IRA. It gives you a lot of control. Now, I'm not saying do not have any money in a regular IRA, but I am saying that a Roth can be a really powerful tool. And one of the things that make it a powerful tool is you don't have to pay all the costs for that interest-free loan that the government's giving you, and you're managing the government's money, essentially. You don't have to pay that. But you do want to have, I would argue, and this is not financial advice, I don't know your situation, but I would say you want to look into this. This is something to have on your radar screen, something for you to be thinking about and know about. It's helpful to have three different buckets, if you will, of money. A Roth IRA, a Roth type account, a regular IRA type account, regular 401k account, and then a taxable account. And with those three buckets, you'll have a lot of control on what your tax rate is in the future. And I know that you'll appreciate being able to have that. I also know that you'll enjoy watching this video up here, which talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can, and enjoy the fruits of your labor from all that work, sacrifice, and saving along the way. So be sure to watch that video. I'll see you in there. 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Bye-bye.